What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. Now, today we're going to be talking about 7th Zone. We haven't talked about 7th Zone in a long time, but I really want to talk about this one because this one was a lot of fun. We did quite a few runs on this last night, and I'm, of course, talking about Wind Zone. Wind Zone was a really, really awesome run last night. We did absolutely spectacular in this. And it's frankly a lot of fun. If you were able to pull LYD, of course, LYD is your absolute best unit for this. And I apologize because when we initially talked about him, I was dead wrong about this guy. And for whatever reason, I didn't want to believe he was as badass as he actually is. I just didn't believe it in my heart of hearts. Because, for the longest time in Wargame, we've had that meta of just this crazy Magic Rush teams. And he seems to actually be able to counteract the Magic Rush teams pretty well. Like, he's almost become meta in the current runs in Record Buster Wargame. So, A, if you have him, great. You need to be using him on your Wargame team. B, this is a great opportunity to really flex him and see what he's capable of, because he is a Phantasma killer. These are Phantasm units. Let's go ahead and jump in here and see what he is actually, truly, and honestly capable of. Okay? Now, first things first, notice we are running a predominantly fire team. There is one exception on here. I could explain why we're using that unit, but there's a few circumstances behind that. But basically, all you really need for this is LYD. He is just absolutely nuts. Alright, so we're going to start off with our standard buff debuff stack. We're actually using Firewolf this time for the 33% SA gauge charge. There is some benefit to maybe throwing him on later. Maybe. It's kind of up in the air. Like, there's a question mark there in my opinion. But there is some benefit potentially to that. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and do him first, and then I'm going to bring Eyes in here for the AoE buff. Now, I see you saying that the magic, our magic unit here, she actually is an AoE buff too, but I'd like to have the AoE buff on turn 2, and then get that replicated and get that out there just as quickly as humanly possible. Now, we could throw her on turn 2, but I really want to cycle in the all the assists we have. So that gives us the maximum number of assists. I can't really think of a better way to handle this. Plus, she also does guard rate reduction. So we're going to use skill 1. She's going to do guard rate down. With that guard rate down, we could potentially do more damage. Of course, that's going to be good for our score. Now, we're going to be shooting for a 20 mil or so score, and we'll see what we can actually pull off on this run. I will go ahead and let you guys know there is a better way to do this than what I'm going to do it. I'm well aware of that. But, being that this is a slightly competitive event, there are benefits and things like that to maybe gaining top tier numbers. I'm not going to showcase everything that I'm going to be doing here. Though if you guys were at the live stream, you probably already know what I'm going to be attempting later on. Neither here nor there, let's go ahead and show you guys how to get really good numbers out of this bad boy. Really good numbers. Alright, turn 3, I'm going to go ahead and do Sheikah. That is going to give us our counter rate and penetration rate buffs. We're going to go ahead and do her primary buff. And we're going to go ahead and just continue our AoE attacks. Okay, nothing really truly extraordinary here, just making good damage actually. Now, the only downside is we could potentially get debuffed, though I'm not worried about it too much. If LYD gets debuffed, that is going to make a big difference in our overall damage outcome. But if the other unit gets debuffed, anyone else gets debuffed, there's no skin off my back. It's really literally nothing. So I'm going to go back to do Yosuga. We're going to go ahead and do her second skill. It's going to go ahead and give her fire damage. There is some question about using that first and then using the second. I probably honestly should have done that first. I would get a tiny bit more damage out of it. So realistically, I need to just start amending my stack to do that. But we're going to go ahead and continue doing skill 2 with her. And he should have one more turn. Yeah. One more turn for challenging shout. Now, remember, that doesn't expire when we use an SA. So we're going to go ahead and use an SA in this turn. Now, I hear people asking, why am I not using Haruhime? Well, the answer is really simple. LYD is our primary damage unit. And when LYD does an SA, he gives himself strength and fire 80%. Those are all the stats he needs. Now, we could do Haruhime and LYD, but we'd have to wait till turn 6 to do that. And if I did that, I'd only be getting 20% extra damage, and we'd be waiting a little bit longer to do it. So we're going to get LYD out here and doing some instantaneous damage. Yes, his strength could be a little bit harder. He could produce a little bit more damage. But remember, the faster you can end this, the more your score is going to just basically grow. Don't really know what other way to put it. We're growing our score. So let's go ahead and do an SA. Now next turn we are going to go ahead and reapply his buffs. So that is pretty self-explanatory. Bam, get it. Now we did see that it is one turn for that, I say reestablish his buff, but more or less reestablish his extra attack. You won't do an extra attack on an SA turn, so we're not going to basically expire that. Notice he almost did 1,000,000 damage there. In a perfect world, he'd actually do like upwards of 1.2 there, but it's really hard to get that out. Like, that's 100% like perfect RNG, and it's nigh impossible. So on this turn, we are going to go ahead and rebuff that. You'll see down here that Challenging Shout goes one turn. Like I said, it does not expire. He does not use it on an S8 turn, so we're going to do Challenging Shout again. Remember, it is a 3-turn buff. It says plus 3 actions, but those actions occur on the next turn. So you need to buff that this turn. Let's see, she should be needing hers next turn. No, 2 turns. So Hot Steak, I always want to call it Hot Streak. It's literally just Hot Steak. Hot Steak is going to need to be rebuffed 2 turns from now. So we're just going to go ahead and continue with that. So we're going to do Skill 3, Skill 2, Skill 2, Skill 1. Let it go. Now, the fun part here, there's an outside chance I might not have needed to do that. I could have just done a basic attack with LYD, but I'm looking at the amount of damage that's left on these units, and I'm saying, I'd in a perfect world with a perfect first SA, these guys would be dead next turn. I don't have the utmost confidence that that's necessarily going to be the case in this run. I would love to have a 6-turn kill. There are ways to guarantee a 6-turn kill. I will throw that bone out there. But unfortunately, it is not going to happen on this run. So we're going to go and do an SA again with him. We're going to go ahead. We don't need to buff anything else, so we're just going to keep doing Skill 3, Skill 2, Skill 2, and an SA. Let's go. Now remember, LYD is a Phantasma killer. That's why he's doing so much damage. Just so much damage. We should get north, in a perfect world, 1.5. I think we're going to get 1.3. 1.2 to 1.3 mil here. Yeah. Even 1.1 on one of them. Oh, that was atrocious. Like I said, 6-turn kill is completely doable, but you almost have to have perfect. Oh, no, we did it. We did it. Okay. Okay. I will take that. I was actually expecting that to go to turn 7. Once again, like I said, he is an absolute boss at this event. Even if you don't have a max limit broken, you still pull out pretty good numbers. Okay. 23.4. We broke our 20 mil. I really thought it was going to go to turn 7 and then it'd be like high 19s, low 20s. But no, that's actually spectacular. So if we go to score detail, it'll tell you right here. Battle turn 6, we get a 200% bonus. The highest damage is 1.2 mil. So the higher that damage, the better. Obviously, I said we can get up to upwards of 1.5. And then that's obviously going to get bigger and better scores out. But this is literally how you calculate everything here. So total damage received, that basically the lower the number there, the higher your bonus is going to be, so on and so forth. So yeah, pretty straightforward stuff. There are ways to mess with this and get better numbers out. You could probably start calculating that out yourself. But for me, right now, I am exceptionally happy. I am ecstatic with those numbers. I couldn't be more grateful for what I've done here. So I'm going to go continue try to tweak this team and see if we can actually break top 10. Now, top 10 currently, if it's the same as last night, is totally doable. Okay? Notice this. 23.9. So I'm right on the cusp of that. We're working hard to get that back out there. I think I can make top 10 this time around, and that's probably going to take a few tweaks to the team, but it's totally doable. Now, I will say, and I'll just throw this little bone at you, using other Phantasma killers would be really, really, really beneficial to you. I unfortunately am lacking a few of them, but we are going to be trying to pull some of those coming up here soon. I've said too much. I've said way too much. But that is the team you can use. Basically, if you've got LYD, if you've got anybody else you can run with him, he's going to do incredible damage. You can actually, I debuffed fire here, but you could probably debuff some other skills and then get significantly more damage out of like a dark unit or somebody else that does physical, because you'd want to, obviously, since he has the big fizz buff on him, you'd want to give them a little bit more. Case in point, not Ares, I'm sorry. Apollo does fire and light. Now, I really don't think there's any light Phantasma killers. I could be wrong on that. I don't believe so. So it's something you'd really have to go through your teams. Let me see if I could pull up the Phantasma killers real quick. Let's see, we should have a chart of them that we can utilize. And I'll just double check real quick. But I don't think at this juncture that there are any light Phantasma. I think most of them are dark, I believe, but let me double check everything here as that comes up. But that's pretty much how you do it. Like, Phantasma killers are just going to wreck this. If you got a fire team, obviously fire team is preferential, but once again, if you've got LYD, he's going to do so much damage, you don't really need to worry about the rest. So Phantasma killer list isn't coming up. Oh nope, here it is, here it is, here it is. And we've got going to my own Discord to find this information because I don't remember all this stuff. So, dragon killers, material killers, worm killers. Don't tell me we don't have the list of the Phantasmas. We do not have the list of Phantasmas. Well, make sure we update that. So, if you guys want the full list of Phantasma killers, we'll get that updated. We'll get that put on the Discord. Of course, Discord's in the description down below. So we'll go ahead and update that a little bit. But for now, that is going to be the video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section. Like, comment, share, and I'll be back at you guys with more Danmachi each and every single day.